Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze. So I've got a little story for you. It's a pretty small story, but I was watching a match the other day and I absolutely loved it. It is Bull Nakano versus Alundra Blaze. I think it's late 1994, and it's at a show called The Big Egg. I have written it down. The Big Egg Wrestling Universe event. WWE are over in Tokyo. They're putting on this event, or they're part of this event, and one of the matches is Bull Nakano versus Alundra Blaze for the WWF Women's Championship, and Bull Nakano wins. She wins the WWF Women's Championship. And the spectacle of this thing is just staggering. Now, I remember Bull Nakano being a fantastic women's wrestler. I remember watching her at SummerSlam in '94. And she wasn't in the WWF for long, but she certainly made an impression on me. I can remember Bull Nakano. I can remember Bertha Faye. I can remember, obviously, Alundra Blaze and Luna Vachon, and really that was kind of like the mid-90s women's wrestling. And when they all went, that's when we started getting the likes of Sunny, Sable, and then we started moving towards the Attitude Era, and the Attitude Era wasn't kind to women's wrestling at all. Really, it's not until after the Attitude Era that we start getting Trish, Lita, and we start building up again. I mean, we did have a wobble as well towards like the Bellas and everything, but then we're back with Sasha and Charlotte, and main event in Hell in a Cell. Really, really cool. But I wanted to talk about Bull Nakano because I saw that match and I loved it, and so I went back and I started looking at some of her other stuff, and well, I wanted to do a video where it was just like, God, this woman is just incredible. She's one of the best women's wrestlers of all time. She's in my top 10. She just misses out on my top 5. I've already done that video, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. So yeah, I wanted to talk about how great she was, but then I thought, well, why don't I just induct her into the Wrestling Daze Hall of Fame? Like a proper ad hoc, wasn't planned. Let's put her in. She deserves it, and I want to go through her history and talk a bit more about her. I appreciate there's a lot of you that will never even have heard of the name Bull Nakano, so I really wanted to do this video, and I'm doing it. I'm inducting her. She's going into the Wrestling Daze Hall of Fame. We will still do an official inductee for October over the next few days. So this is very much a not planned ad hoc induction, but I've got to do it. I've got to put her in because I absolutely love this woman. So let's get down to it. Bull Nakano made her debut in 1983. She was really, really young. She was 15 years old, and she debuted at All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, AJW is what it is known as. She won the AJW Junior Championship at the age of 16 in 1984, and then the next year she actually goes on in 1985 to become the AJW Champion, like the top dog. She holds that title for 3 years. The year after that, she wins the WWWA World Tag Championship with her mentor, Dump Matsumoto. Those two even competed for the WWF in 1986, facing Velvet McIntyre and Dawn Marie Johnston. Nakano went on to hold the WWWA tag titles 3 times. She also won the Japan Grand Prix tournament in 1988, and she also won a tournament to win the WWWA Heavyweight Championship, a championship she would hold for nearly 3 years before losing it late in 1992 in a great match, in a great feud actually, against one of the all-time great women's wrestlers, Aja Kong. Travelled to Mexico in 1992 and became the CMLL inaugural Women's World Champion. And then she finally found her way to the WWF. We're talking 93, 94. She came in as part of Luna Vachon's storyline with Alundra Blaze, and she came in as an associate of Luna Vachon. As we said, we get to SummerSlam 94. The two have a fantastic match. Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano, and then we get later into 94, we get that match I watched last night, which was the Big Egg Wrestling Universe event. There's clips of it on YouTube, and honestly I advise you watching it because it is in Japanese, right? There's no two ways about it. There's no English in this thing, but as a spectacle, it is a stunning watch. The entrances and even the mat. I mean, like every time they slam each other down on the mat's not like a WWF, WWE ring. It's really hard. It sounds brutal. Some of the spots that they were doing, just really, really brutal. Bull Nakano, I can't remember how she wins it. She might win it with her finishing move. I can't remember now. But one of her main moves was coming off the top rope, a leg drop from the top rope. I mean, if you think that Hogan used to put people away with just a standing leg drop, he'd come off the ropes, deliver the leg, yeah? But she's doing it off the top rope, and this is, she's a big woman. There's no two ways about it, she's not massive, but she's got something about her, and she... bang, coming down off the top rope, absolutely brutal. She went on to hold that title anyway for 5 months, and she lost it on Raw on April 3rd, 1995. She lost it back to Alundra Blaze. Unfortunately, she's found around this time to be in possession of cocaine, and so she parts ways with WWF. She was part of the legendary Collision in Korea event, which was held in North Korea and is still the most attended, highest attended wrestling event of all time. She was actually on that card. She was competing against my favourite female wrestler of all time, Manami Toyota. So that's, I have seen that match and it is great. She then goes back to the US and competes for WCW. She appears at World War III pay-per-view, and she starts or recommences her feud with Alundra Blaze, who is now in WCW, competing as Medusa. Nothing really comes of Nakano's time in WCW, and she ends up retiring in 1997. She has a couple of one-off matches here and there, but largely she's done. And actually, she's done to the point where she has a career change. Unbelievably, Bull Nakano, one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time, in 1998 becomes a professional golfer, and actually in 2006 qualifies for the LPGA. It's Nakano's time in the ring that I'm focused on. So let's go down her championships and accomplishments. So she is an AJW champion, AJW junior champion, an All-Pacific champion, WWWA World Heavyweight champion, 3-time WWWA World Tag Team champion, Japan Grand Prix winner in 1998. She is the Tag League the Best winner in 1985. She is in the AJW Hall of Fame. She is the first ever inaugural CMLL World Women's Champion. She is in the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, class of 2001. She was a former WWF Women's Champion. She's also a Slammy Award winner. She picked up the award for most devastating in 1994. 3 matches that I would recommend. Well, first of all, I'm going to say Bull Nakano versus Alundra Blaze, SummerSlam 94. It's easy enough to find on the network, and it's a great starting point. As well as that, I'm going to say Aja Kong versus Bull Nakano. Probably the match in late 92 where she drops the WWWA championship, but they had a great feud. Really, any Aja Kong versus Bull Nakano matches, you're not going to go wrong. And the other one, Devil Masami versus Bull Nakano. This was a match, it went 40 minutes. Again, I think it was 92 or 93, and it was JWP versus AJW. Obviously, AJW being represented by Bull Nakano. Stunning performer. One of my all-time favourites, in my top 10, no doubt about it, in my top 10 women's wrestlers of all time, and a real pleasure to revisit her work past few days, and and to induct her into the Wrestling Daze Hall of Fame. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I know this was a bit ad hoc and a little bit unexpected. It was for me as well, but I've so enjoyed watching her matches that I had to do this video. So if you've enjoyed it, if you've learnt something about Bull Nakano, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet to the Wrestling Daze channel, really would appreciate it if you could. Many congratulations to Bull Nakano, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.